Hi, everybody. My name is Debra Lee Fader, also known as the Queen of Kindness. This is a brand new show for you. It's called Acts of Kindness, Connecting Through Caring. And we have a lot of things that we want to cover today, but something I need to say to you right off the bat is people don't care how much you know. They care how much you care. So in order to bridge that gap, you will have to prove yourself that you can care for another person. And at that point, they will give you a bridge to connect with caring. Today's topic is finding hope. So today, when we're finding hope, we really want to emphasize why it's so important. The reason for the importance is that you are building a better life. And if you have hope, you have the power to make changes. Dreaming is marvelous, but it will not fill your heart as hope will. Hope actually brings you to concrete changes, and they are improvements. All right, everybody, I want to remind you about hope. There are 3 things that we consider major when we're discussing hope and when we're trying to locate hope. Number 1, you locate that higher power. And number 2, you have a watering well of hope. We'll go into that later. And remember that you pray. And people say, well, what is prayer anyway? Prayer is the manifestation of thought. So we just talked about point number 1, which is locating your higher power. I want you to know that you can pin your hope on that higher power, and that will increase your power. And you may say, well, what is the higher power? The higher power is something outside of yourself, something spiritual that you can grab onto and you can constantly repeat over and over your manifestations of thought and of what you want to accomplish in life. And this will lead you to where you want to go next. So people also want to know, I've never heard of a higher power, or I think I should have a higher power, but I don't know how to get it. Keep in mind that, yes, we are intellectual beings, but part of our makeup, part of our DNA is to have a spirituality, a spiritual side. And what you do is you pin yourself to that spiritual side, and you are able to manifest all sorts of thoughts to that spiritual side. And this is praying to your higher power, asking for ways to accomplish what you would like to do in a positive manner to bring you forward. And do you remember that we talked about the watering well, your manifestation of thought or prayer as a vehicle to move you forward in your hope? Well, this is how you do it. You think of hope as being water in a well. You're going to dig deeper down into that well, and you will release your subconscious and all the creativity that you have, and you will be able to start drinking from this bottomless well of hope, and that will bring you closer to your goals and your ability to care for others. So we talked about the watering well. Now it's time to talk about your position of faith. And faith is not a particular religion. It's not a man-made substance. It is from within yourself. You are speaking those thoughts to your higher power, which is your spiritual side. And you're going to constantly work in a way where you're in sync with that spiritual side of yourself. And when you do this through prayer, which is, remember, the manifestation of thought, you will be starting to see major changes in your life. And as long as the higher power within yourself that you're reaching out to agrees to the goodness of your thoughts, The manifestations will fall naturally into place because they're from good. In just a few moments, I'd like to tell you about my personal struggle with my higher power and building hope. You may wonder about my personal higher power. Of course, I'm Bible bred, raised, and I wouldn't change any of that for the world. However, I have had many trials and tests throughout my life. But let me take you back to 17 years ago. I woke up, I got out of bed, and I fell directly onto my knees, and then I fell on my face. I could not move a muscle. I could not move at all. But I had the strength to, out of fear, really, to pull myself with my fingers and my fingernails across the carpet to get to a phone. And I got to a phone. I called my husband. I had to let him know what was going on with me. I had to call work. When I called work, I used to be such of a joker all the time with my manager. We used to have so much fun. And I said, I can't move. He said, really? I said, I can't stand up. And he said, well, then crawl on in here and tell me about it. And I said, I mean it. I'm in dire need. So the long and short of it is, I was in and out of hospitals. I was in and out of wheelchairs. I almost died. They could not figure out what was going on with me. I had a mysterious illness. And finally, I had some tests for Lyme disease. And one of the tests came back positive. So what happened is they started giving me intravenous medication for Lyme's. And it took over a year, but I was finally able to get back on my feet and walk with a cane. And then eventually I was able to lose the cane, and I was doing very well. I was back on my feet, back living my life. I didn't drop a beat. And after that first year, I started to regress. And that's when I was going from doctor to doctor all over the state, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Nobody knew what to do. And so they were saying to my family that I was making it up, and that the doctors just continued to gaslight me with my husband. They would say to him, she's just looking for attention, ignore her. So he did what the doctor said to do, stop paying attention. Well, what happened to me is that I had to pin my life on hope and on my higher power. So I pinned my life on God, and I had to learn to walk by faith. I have a book that's coming out, Walk by Faith, and you'll be able to find that at various areas. The sad part about it was it took until the year of 2017 before I was given any kind of medication. So I lost my ability to stand up straight, walk without any kind of um, device. So I now use a cane and I use a walker. But I am so grateful to God because somehow I've been able to avoid being in a wheelchair. And I have been told that if I did not have faith and power and hope and power and the belief through God that I could get through this, I would definitely be in a wheelchair today. So I walk by faith. So I just shared my story with you. Thank you for listening, by the way. And I just want to go over these few takeaways. Remember, every day is a different day. It's a gift from God. It's a gift from your higher power to you to continue on your journey of goodness and caring. You walk by faith each and every day. You grab onto that higher power and you let it take hold of your life. You keep reaching back into the well and you bubble up that hope from the very bottom. And this will keep you moving forward in a very positive way. The overall importance is that you are manifesting good thoughts. So believe within the power of yourself and believe in hope. So we've covered a lot of ground today, and I just want to thank you for joining me. And if anything resonated with you at all, please contact me on queenofkindness.org or on my social media platforms. I look forward to hearing from you and have some gifts for you when you sign up for my emails. So thank you once again, and I look forward to being with you for our second podcast. God bless you all.